What if you could spot dangerous men on dating apps? And you could weed out a lot of Mr. Wrongs too. The Burned Haystack Dating Method claims to do just that. And the method isn't just for dating. You can use it for other areas of your life too. Have you heard about the Burned Haystack Dating Method? After watching an interview about spotting dangerous men on dating apps and digging into the best-selling book behind the movement, we found insights that could save you time, heartache, and possibly even protect you from harm. While we don't share the author's worldview, we do believe there are valuable lessons here for women navigating today's dating landscape. Join us today for part two of our discussion, where we talk about practical ways to identify red flags, protect your heart, and approach online dating with wisdom, discernment, and confidence.
Welcome to the Jesus People Sisterhood podcast, a place created just for you, the single Christian woman over 50 who knows there is still so much more ahead. I'm your host, Janine Jordan, Christian confidence coach and leadership mentor based in Alberta, Canada.
And I'm your co-host, Ellie McCormick, a flag certified coach, Christian longevity coach, and life coach in the United States. And if you've ever felt a little overlooked, a little forgotten, or quietly wondered, God, what does the rest of my life look like from here? We understand because we've been there too. We know what it's like to carry dreams that haven't fully unfolded yet, to navigate the unique challenges of singlehood, and to wrestle with questions about purpose, health, and the future. And honestly, we couldn't find a space online that truly spoke to us, so we created one.
This is Jesus People Sisterhood, a place where you are not invisible, you are valuable. Where you are not past your prime, you are stepping into one of the most powerful, meaningful seasons of your life.
Here you'll find real conversations, deep encouragement, and a circle of women who love Jesus and are walking this road right alongside you. Because you carry wisdom, you carry strength, and your life still holds incredible purpose.
So join us as we talk about what really matters, building meaningful relationships, strengthening your health, and growing deeper in your walk with God. And we share tons of valuable information relevant to our sisterhood. We'll share stories, explore life-giving ideas, hear inspiring voices, and yes, have a few laughs along the way. So wherever you're listening from, whether you're in your kitchen or on a walk or sitting in that quiet place, just know you belong here, and let's walk this journey together. Welcome, sisters, to this episode of the Jesus People Sisterhood podcast, the only podcast specifically for single Christian women over 50. Today, we give a shout out to our sisters in Estonia. Thank you for listening. We want everyone to get to know our listeners, and so we'll be doing listener spotlight episodes from time to time. So if you'd like to share your testimony or what the Lord is doing in your life currently, or if you're leading in ministry or another field and would like to tell us about that for a Jesus Sister Excelling in the Last Third episode, please contact us at support@jesuspeoplesisterhood.com. We would love to have our listeners come and share with the sisterhood.
It's a blessing to provide this podcast for free, but it does cost us to produce Jesus People Sisterhood episodes. It would be a great blessing to us that if you decide to buy a book mentioned in this podcast, you purchase it through the link in our episode show notes.
Today's episode is part 2 of our episode on the Burned Haystack Dating Method. If you've not listened to part 1, please go back and listen to the previous episode first. And now we pick up the conversation where we left off last week. The book gives 10 Burned Haystack Method rules, which we're going to share now. Moving along, the most common advice for dating apps is to make yourself as widely appealing as possible to as many men as possible because you're trying to throw a wide net. You're trying to cast it, over a large area. Better to give almost everyone a chance because it's a numbers game. That's usually how things are portrayed in the dating apps world. But the burned haystack method tells you the opposite. According to the burned haystack method, you should present yourself exactly as you are and you should give almost no one a chance. And we're going to start with some of the rules. So, rule number one is the app is a tool and it's not a place to live and it's not a game or a place to hang out killing time. So, you're not just getting on there and spending all your day looking for the perfect person. Ms. Young says to treat the app like a toothbrush. You should use it twice a day for 5 minutes or so. Resist spending all your time on the app itself. Dating apps are gamified to keep you on them. They have little hooks to keep you coming back and wanting to be there over and over again. So, yeah, just something to be aware of. It's a money-making game, and you need to be intentional about what you're doing.
Rule number two is focus on messaging over scrolling or swiping. Messaging is where you're going to find the info you really need. And Jenny says only engage with messages worth responding to and respond in kind. So if someone writes hi, then you say hi. You don't tell them your life story.
Right.
And that actually, Jenny was like, if somebody just wrote hi, she wouldn't bother responding. She says to keep the conversation light until you meet in person. So don't share anything deeply personal about yourself. You can talk about art and music and social events and books, etc. Rule number three is no notifications. She says disable them because they are not good for your nervous system.
Mhm. So, rule number four is block to burn, and it's probably the most popularized rule of the burned haystack method. Jenny Young claims it's a superpower. When you don't block someone you're not interested in, though, the dating app will bring them around again. This wastes your time and prevents the app from sending you other people who might be better matches. So remember that you are burning the haystack here, not moving pieces of hay around. And the B2B, which is the short for that, beats the algorithm. So be aware. Mhm. Rule number five is no fighting with men. The method says to block them immediately because engaging is a waste of time. And you're not going to win them over, and they're probably somebody that you really do not want to be in a relationship with anyway. They already have different point of view than you do, and it's a waste of time to try to win them over.
Yeah, I think all of these relate to, or most of them, is that you don't want to spend a lot of time on the app itself. You're just on there to look at somebody, and then you're trying to get off of that and meet people off of the app. Rule number six is don't be a pen pal. This apparently is a real problem on apps. Jenny Young said every man she ever met on an app who was dateable moved off the app in less than a week.
Mhm.
He says B2B if the man isn't moving toward a meeting.
Mhm.
Rule number seven is set your geography, but don't reveal your location if you can. If you disable your location, you will weed out men who are just looking for a hookup. But you do want to match men in your dateable area. So if the app allows it, don't give your
Mhm.
location, but you can choose your geographical area.
Right. Rule number eight is no ludic looping and no attractions of desperation. Dr. Natasha Shull has written about ludic looping and how it keeps you playing a game. The same can happen in the app. Like a guy, swipe right. On the next guy, swipe right. It's like getting caught in a loop. This activity releases dopamine and keeps us in the loop. You don't want to become a victim of the app. Attractions of desperation draw us in and almost always get us hurt. It's when we keep waiting on a man, and this makes us feel insecure. So, what do we think about that, Ellie?
Well, I think the description that they gave is we I don't know why these two are together. I
Yeah,
guess there's some, I don't know how they're really connected to me, but the attractions of desperation, how it was explained was it's when you meet somebody and you're insecure in this whole dating relationship because you're always wondering, okay, are they going to text me? Are we going on a date? Are they going to call me? You're very insecure and you're like attraction of desperation. You're like desperate, right?
right.
You're totally insecure in the relationship, waiting around and wondering what's going to happen.
So you're just like totally invested yourself in this and it's like everything that he does or doesn't do or doesn't say or the time that he doesn't get back to you just makes you feel more and more insecure, right?
Right. So
Okay.
they give you the opposite, which is to have better to have attractions of inspiration.
Hmm.
And those are what they say are stable and secure relationships. He says he's going to call. It's like you're in a normal relationship, right? He's
Right.
going to call. You're going out on Friday night. He texts. You tell each other what you're doing during the day or whatever, and your relationship is deepening over time. You're not kept guessing if they're going
Hmm.
to talk to you or they're going to text you or you're going out or whatever, or they're going to ghost you.
Right. So it has a reciprocity and you have a trust in it and
Right.
you're feeling like,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
The
Okay.
relationship is inspirational, not desperational, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we kind of hashed out that rule eight. No ludic looping, no desperation in your search, right? You are not going to let this whole thing change how you value yourself. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah. Rule number 9 is no men who can't plan the date. If he
Hmm.
can't or won't plan the first date, it means you'll be doing all the work for the first date and probably all the dates afterward.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. Okay. We created the JPS space because we know how it feels to face life and the future on your own. And we also know that something better is possible within a community of like minded sisters. If today's episode is blessing you, would you take a moment to follow or subscribe to the podcast right where you're listening?
That way, every new conversation, every encouragement, every reminder that you're not alone comes straight to you. And if you feel led, leaving a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts is one of the most powerful ways to help other women just like you find this space. You are not alone anymore. You've found your sisterhood.
Well, rule number 10 is treat the job of online dating as a job search, not a takeout order. You have to be willing to play the longer game. So you spend a significant time writing your resume, doing your profile, and you look for the best job with long-term promise. Again, so that monogamous long-term relationship. And the burned haystack method is specifically for finding that type of relationship. It's not a fast food meal. This is something that you want to enjoy for a long time to come.
Yeah, it's interesting that Jenny Young, who keeps talking about how she's this feminist and open to all kinds of relationships, but she herself wants a long-term heterosexual monogamous relationship. Okay, sorry, just had to
Mhm.
throw that in there. All right. And
Yep.
that the whole burned haystack method is for people who are specifically looking for a long-term monogamous relationship. Doesn't have to be heterosexual, but monogamous.
Mhm. Right.
Okay. The book also shares 33 rhetorical patterns for analyzing men on the apps. And Jenny Young says that this list is not exhaustive. She just chose the most common problematic ones. We aren't going to share all 33, but we'll share a few here. Several were already mentioned earlier in the Carrie McAvoy video. Rhetorical pattern number 2 is, are you my mother? The
Mm.
man writes his profile saying something like he's looking for someone to motivate him.
Hmm.
If you're analyzing the profile, you can determine that the man is looking for someone who expects nothing of him. So when you're reading a profile, if it sounds like you don't expect anything from me and I'm expecting you to kind of bolster me and motivate me,
Hmm.
it's basically the guy is looking for a mother.
Right. Yeah. Pattern number 5 is the manic pixie. The man tells you he's in search of a remarkable woman to travel with and to live that adventurous lifestyle. But the problem is that they don't seem to be living in the real world. They are not living in the real world. You have to wonder if this man is even able to deal with reality at all. They're kind of like that Pina Colada song. Probably, maybe some people know it, but there's that picture painted of that beautiful island and the sunset, and you sipping pina coladas, I guess, at sunset, and life has no problems, and we just have a lovely walk off into oblivion, I guess, or something. I don't know, but there are many men out there that are maybe want to reel you in with the lovely romantic ideas.
Fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. But
It's
but
not real. It's
unfortunately,
a fantasy that nobody is
that's
ever going to live up to.
that's
No
right.
life is like that.
Hmm. Hmm. So we
And
got to beware
I
of those guys.
and maybe he's thinking that. Maybe he's fantasizing that. It isn't just about him reeling you in, but if that's the case, that it's still a bad idea because
Right.
they're not living in the real world. What
Mhm.
happens when reality hits of real life?
Right. Or they have to come out of their mother's basement, right? Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Pattern 7 is my kids come first.
Mm.
And I guess that a lot of people write that. But according to Jenny Young, this is an unnecessary statement because it's commonly accepted that we take care of our children. According to Jenny, this means you will not be first. The man is telling you not to expect him to prioritize you. And
Hmm.
he's assuming the director role in the relationship before you've even met. He's also assuming he's more desirable in the relationship, that immediately you're going to be wanting all his time.
Yeah.
And just so you know, his kids
Hmm.
come first. So, wait in line.
Right. So another pattern is the bored toddler. And this is someone who demands your time. They're always tugging at your sleeve. She says, they don't give you any relief. They are like that little child that wants your attention, doesn't wait for you to respond before sending something else. They're not taking into consideration what's going on in your world, or possibly you're at work, or possibly you're engaged in something else like life. And so, yeah, they'd be somebody who's selfish. But not only that, they're probably tugging on the sleeves of other women as well. And they're looking for whoever's going to give them a response. So definitely something to be aware of. Yeah. And if they don't get what they want, like I said, from you, they're happy to try to get it from somebody else.
Another pattern is weaponized incompetency. And that's when a man fails at doing something and then feigns incompetency to get out of doing the task. Here, a man might say, I'm just not good at doing laundry or the
Mm,
dishes or mowing the lawn. And
yeah.
so he drops the responsibility and it lands on you.
Okay, she also talks about rhetorical pattern number 15, which is looking for a trad wife. Now, Jenny gives the profile example of a man who is stable and successful and has a faith-led life. He is looking for a Proverbs 31 woman, oh, we've heard that before, who shares his commitment to faith. And the quote is, if you are fit and have a nice booty, oh, that's a huge plus also. The way to win me over is to be sweet, not overweight, submissive, and of course, let me lead. And what do you have to say there?
Obviously, the comments about a woman's body are pretty ick.
Yeah.
But if this had been a Christian writing this, I probably would have agreed wholeheartedly with Jenny because there are many men in the church who have an inferior view of women.
Mhm.
even men who have claimed to not think that way. Yet when you look at the way that they treat women and the hierarchies that are set up, they're either hiding or are blind to the fact that they really believe themselves to be superior.
Mhm.
And sadly, most conservative churches are controlled by the good old boys club. I
Mhm.
personally have experienced this in most of the Christian environments I've been in. So I can relate to Jenny's sense of misogyny in these statements. I'm not talking about the ones that are objectifying. I'm talking about I want a Proverbs 31 woman who's sweet, etc., etc. But as Christian women, we do want a partner who is faith-led and
Mhm.
who wants to live a life following Jesus with a godly spouse. And I think Jenny would have a problem with that.
Mhm.
Several times in the book, Jenny makes statements that reveal an animosity toward Christianity.
Mhm.
So, in one hand, again, if a Christian had written that, I totally would agree. But because I've seen the other things that Jenny has said in her book,
Mhm. Yeah.
it's like I take it with a grain of salt
Right.
because she would just rule out any conservative Christian man.
Right.
So, what are your thoughts on the book, Janine?
Well, I think the big thing for me is since this is a secular method, the Burned Haystack method, and there's just no place for the Lord. As believers, we should invite the Holy Spirit into our decisions and our relationships. And we should be praying about all these things and asking the Lord for protection and guidance. And that's just the big missing piece in the method if you're a Christian. I think that there are some gems. I think there's some wisdom there regardless of the point of view of the author and some things that are said. I There are things to be gleaned, and I think that it may have some things that you have maybe thought about before but weren't articulated. And yeah, if you can get by the language and you can get by some of those things, it may be of worth to you. But I would say there probably are other things out there that you could use instead. So.
I'm reminded of something else I wanted to share from the book that I thought was really interesting, and I think what you could glean from the book.
Mhm.
Jenny shares about how a lot of times when you start communicating with men on these apps, they'll ask you, "What's your experience on the apps?" And
Mm,
she thought this is probably they're wanting her to say how terrible it is. That's why they're asking the question. So she decided, of course, she was going to not say that. So she would say, "Oh, I've had a good experience so far and I've met some nice men." And
mhm.
she found that when she wrote that, nobody wrote her back.
Yeah.
And I guess this is what's interesting, and I think also what kind of legitimizes the information in this book is because she does have this huge 250,000 people in her private Facebook group, and they're all on there sharing. I don't think I could recommend it because from what she writes, I don't think Christian women would feel very welcome there. But it kind of like the research and the study and the experimenting has gone through a lot because
Hmm.
they're talking about that. And so she now says she doesn't even, she just blocks to burn if somebody asks her that question. And that's probably, what all the women on the Facebook group do too, because what they realized is that it was never a serious question like they really wanted to know so they could commiserate or anything like that, that these
Hmm.
men were asking because once you answered, then they would not be whatever it is you answered, right? The whatever problem. Your experience on the apps, usually the answer is going to be something bad. Oh, I had this bad experience here and I had this bad experience here. And
Yeah.
so then if you say, well, this person wanted to do something that they didn't like, well, then he makes sure he doesn't do that or
Hmm.
whatever it is. He wasn't very attentive or things like that. And basically, it's like a phishing. If you think about when somebody sends you a phishing email, they're trying to get your personal information so they can take advantage of you. It's the same thing. This question is like a phishing question
Hmm.
to find out your bad experience so that they they will
Right.
not do that thing. They'll just do other things to con you for whatever reason they're fishing. Because if you don't answer it correctly, like Jenny did, she didn't give a complaint, then they are not interested in you.
Right.
And that was proven through the experience of all these people, which I thought that was really fascinating. That because of the experience of all these people doing this, that's what they found out.
Hmm.
Nobody was asking that question because they sincerely wanted to know, like, let's share our stories and, how we can make it better. No, they're only asking that question because it's a phishing question.
Right. So it kind of relates back to some of the stuff we were talking about in the beginning of the episode where the person puts out there maybe something that's straightforward and seems to be a good thing to do, that this could just be another way, another sort of trap or another way that what we might first have thought would have been a nice question to be asked, but isn't necessarily exactly what we thought it would be, right?
Yeah. But
Hmm.
I'm relating that story because to me, that is the value I
Hmm.
think I pulled from the video and the book.
Right.
But the book was just very difficult for me to get through, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy of the author. She wants this traditional relationship, but she dislikes conservative men. All conservative men. They're all terrible. And I'm like, good luck, lady. You're looking for a traditional relationship, but you're looking for it where it's probably not going to exist, where it's not valued, right? She's looking for a traditional value in people that do not hold traditional values. So it doesn't make any sense. And then she also, in the book, she writes how she wrote a B profile. I'm not going to even say what she called it. And in it, this profile, she says all these things like, if you're this, then don't contact me. And if you're this, you're such and such. And if you're this, it's basically she wrote a profile that was against one of her top rhetorical patterns that she says don't have anything to do with, which is the directorial rhetorical pattern, right?
Oh, I
Where
see.
the
Yeah.
directive pattern, where you're telling somebody, don't be this and do that and blah, 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 blah. She writes a whole profile like that and she put it on the dating app and as if that was a wonderful thing. And I'm like, that is so hypocritical. You just told all these women not to even have anything to do with somebody who writes a directive profile, and yet you just wrote a whole profile like that.
Yeah.
And you're a feminist, so shouldn't it shouldn't be any different for a woman or a man. So there was just so many things like that about her. And let me just say, it's not just, okay, she's liberal and I consider myself conservative because I love Dr. Mindy Pelz. Some of you know, she's a fast like a girl doctor. And I'm pretty sure she's pretty liberal. But I love what she shares because she isn't antagonistic to those with other viewpoints. You can agree on the things you agree on, and you don't have to bring up your political viewpoint on everything, on some subject that has nothing to do with it. And that's where this lady, she just came off as not very nice. Bottom line is, I can't recommend the book. I don't really care for the author. She needlessly and often offensively imbues her book with this far left political views and anti-Christian mindset. She
Mhm.
uses profanity and she comes off as bitter, angry, and discriminatory. However, I still think some of the insights on men on the apps and off can be very helpful at keeping women safe and weeding out a lot of bad guys.
Mhm.
So, what are you to do as the listeners? I hope, sisters, that you could take the information we've shared here and start applying it to your conversations and to dating apps if you're using them. I'd like to also emphasize that Analyzing what people say and how they present themselves shouldn't be restricted to dating apps. You can apply this to the people you meet in daily life. Start thinking critically. The devil is like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. And
Mm.
if there's a sister out there who knows the apps and is a critical thinker, please consider writing up a similar method for women to follow. We could really use it.
Mm.
Let's take care of one another. We do pray for Jenny and Carrie that the Lord would open their eyes and that they would come to know him. God bless you all.
Mm. And thanks for listening today, girls.
Hey, sister, before you go, thank you for being here with us. If you were encouraged by today's episode, would you take a moment to follow or subscribe to the podcast? That way, every new episode finds you right where you are. And if you feel led, leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts helps more women just like you discover this sisterhood. We would love for you to come join us in our free private Facebook group, the Jesus People Sisterhood Community, and keep the connection going.
And we also have a Jesus People Sisterhood senior housing group if you're exploring co-living and new possibilities for this season. You can connect with us at Jesus People Sisterhood on Facebook or visit us individually for Janine at riseupcoachingandconsulting.com and for Ellie at christianlongevity.com. And just a quick reminder, this podcast is for informational purposes and not professional advice. Our prayer is that this podcast blesses you. Until next time, stay connected, reach out, and welcome another sister in.